Hello everybody, today I have the pleasure to propose to you this series of different videos for which today is the first one, is a kind of introduction or kickoff, and for you to understand the ins and the outs. So concretely, what's the reason for being of it, of this series, also what's the approach, and then what is the target or the application. Well, the first one was the reason for being. This is actually, it will be the first series of videos, will be 20 different keys, tools, whatever the name, and themes, for which I will try to give you humbly different elements for you to think about it and for you to awaken, to try to open up the door of part of consciousness, yourself, and also in a certain extent, the universe, the universe within you. So concretely is a progressive approach for which we will take time. It will be some short video in between 20 minutes, 30 minutes, which requires probably hours and hours, books for each of them. But the goal is deeply this point. It is the synthesizing some different key elements, some basics, some foundation, let's say some springboard to reach new perspectives, some new horizon to see differently life. Because we are in a certain period for which a lot of people are questioning the existence, like the meaning of life, the reason why we are here, and so on. And this is just not to give you some answer, but just to give you some keys. This is based off my ethics. My ethics is giving tools to help people to give birth to themselves. So this is really the approach, and let's say the philosophy of it, and the reason for being. Concretely, it is inspired by a book that I wrote, and for which the name is the master key. Okay, why? Because these different keys are supposed to help you to shape your own master key, universal master key, to open up the door of consciousness, and according to what you design, what you want, and at your own rhythm, at your own pace. So this is actually the reason for being. Is humble synthesizes, okay, which is the fruit of 41 years of humble experience of life. Had a chance since my majority to have spent half of my life, the majority of my life abroad in different countries with different cultures, and I visited almost 70 countries in a roots way, backpack and so on, to discover the world, to discover the culture, the civilization, and so on, the richness, which is for me the world heritage. And this is a kind of putting together different key elements, and then of course it's required a personal investment, commitment, deepening from your side. That's a matter of fact. One very important thing, there is no pretension to say that it is the truth. For me, the absolute truth is the sum of the subjective reality, the sum of the subjective truth. Okay, it's like Rumi say, truth was like a mirror. It fall down, and actually it's broken, and everybody takes a single piece and say, this is the whole truth. So there is no vocation to pretend that it is the truth. It is not some proselytism. I have my point of view, you have yours, and so on. It's like a buffet, okay? You take what vibrates, what's echoing within yourself at your own rhythm, because something can vibrate now and some other not, and maybe later it will, and so on. It's really, once again, I have nothing to sell, but actually I have to give a lot from my humble heart. Okay, so this is concretely the reason for being. As for the approach and the methodology, in quota mark, it is an holistic approach. What is holistic? It is a global vision. It means that there will be some transdisciplinarity through some let's say some connection, because in this approach, the word is interconnected, is entangled. So sometimes we will switch back, we will come back, we will bounce back, and we will establish some links, but with a certain common link that way. It means that it will be sometimes some science, sometimes some art, sometimes more spirituality, but more for culture. It's not supposed to be religious at all. It's just something to open up your mind and your heart at the end. And also for you, the objective is that you feel in harmony and, inwardly and outwardly, with the word and with yourself. This is really the point. Then, who concretely it is targeting, let's say, who it is for, actually everybody. All the seekers of, let's say, something different. Okay, I could be as well if someone would be presenting the same. I would be really pleased because it would give me a certain new perspective for which new angle of vision, enlarging my field of vision. So concretely, it is touching, if we are more precise, 3 types of categories. The beginners, okay, the beginners first, those who just have absolutely no clue, no knowledge regarding these topics of openness. And actually, they are just questioning the meaning of life in a certain extent, and they just would like to find some, let's say, some answers within themselves, and also because they just realize that apparently there is something more deeper than the materialistic vision, the binary model pattern that the society hyper-consuming is proposing us. Maybe there is metaphysics, something beyond, something a little bit invisible, but the goal is also the good balance, is not to flee, to run away from the world, the situation, the society, not at all. It's to be more peaceful towards it. So this is the first category. The second one can be some people with a certain, let's say, knowledge, capital of knowledge, and they just want to try to, let's say, to refresh your mind, their mind, or just they want to start back their process of learning. And it can be as well for those with a certain experience, and they just want to see how to synthesize all this information. And it can be also fresh reminders. Sometimes it's always good. Me, the first one, I do quite often, so I need other people to remind me, and it's because it's collective process. The awakening is inwardly, but also it is, for me, it is collective process. It is both sides. There is a resonance in between both. So what else? Regarding actually the principle and the methodology, the approach, I told you it's holistic, and I baptize the concept of holy style of life. Concretely, holy, it's sacred, it's saint, not because I feel as an angel or a saint, it's not this at all. It's just to try to inject some colors, some the notion of the living within our daily life. And like this, it becomes amazing. You know, the principle is to become or to aspire to be enthusiastic. Enthusiasm means literally in Greek, ancient Greek, it means crossed by the living. Okay, so it's quite powerful, it's quite profound, and this is the objective. That in your daily tasks, in your routine, in your normal disciplines and so on, you feel this deep connection to something higher, your higher self connected to the unity. This is the main objective of it. So regarding the methodology, I use this one because I'm teaching and I'm applying as well for me for almost 10 or 20 years, is TIP method. What is it? TIP, as an advice, theory, intuition, practice. We learn from the books, or like recipe, if you want cooking, okay, the recipe, the course, and so on. Then you will practice by your own. So like this, you will have a certain experience. Practice makes perfect, as they say. And then step by step, by having this knowledge of the theory plus the practice, you will develop your own intuition, your intuitive dimension. So some people are more intuitive. For example, they don't need the notice to understand the principle, the functioning of an electronic device. It's the same thing. Actually, this is more and more you practice that, the more and more you will do at your own rhythm with your own methodology. Okay, so I just recommend you, actually, basically, this is basic suggestion, maybe to take some notes, to have a block notes or whatever. It can be on a computer with a system of word, and you take some keywords, and for you, which vibrates. But once again, it's like a buffet. You take whatever you want, what vibrate or not, and you reject the rest. But you take some notes to try to visualize, to synthesize this, and ideally, you revise your notes over the time, okay, because you will evolve necessarily, and also to visualize, ideally, you transmit that, okay, like a transmission, oral transmission with your relative, your friends, and so on, to see and to visualize if you understood actively. Actively means that you are able to rephrase, to reformulate with your own way, okay? And also, I really invite you to share the videos, especially to see the perception of other people, and it will be a good topic for you to exchange, to share, and probably that the perception will be different from yours, and by combining this, you will evolve and enlarge the perspective. The new field of consciousness will evolve. Actually, this is in a global process of awakening, okay? And the awakening is actually, it's eternal, is endless. It's a process for which actually there is no diploma, there is no recognition, there is no medal at the end, there is no Olympic Games for that, because this is the quest of the modern society of performance and so on. Efficiency is not that. The goal is really just to feel in harmony, okay? Knowledge is something, is kind of culture, is important, but some people, they are completely intuitive. They are not capable to explain you how they are connected to the living, to nature, and so on. They have some abilities naturally they cannot explain, like driving is like built-in, okay? So it's the same principle. Culture is just a springboard for you to develop. So for each videos, at the end, there will be a short challenge or let's say a game for you in practice, okay? To reveal and to apply what we saw. And also I will invite you to deepen, if you wish, with other, let's say, research, and also to try how the elements we saw are vibrating with your daily life. Because there is not this video and life, okay? They are supposed to be operational in your daily life. This is extremely important because I don't want to dissociate, and this is the part of the holy style of life. There is not the, let's say, the philosophy, the spirituality from one side, from in a temple or somewhere, and then the rest of the life. This is combined, and this is a global approach according to my vision. Well, once again, I repeat myself, this is an endless path, and it requires, of course, a certain discipline, desire, and also a state of mind, okay? So, and also the pleasure to learn and to open up, because, you know, it's the principle of happiness occurs on the road, not only at the destination. There's different keys will never give you some answers. The answers are within you. And you know, by the way, by definition, the process of insider, it means that it is within you. I cannot go to toilets for you. It's really to be down to earth, okay? You will understand probably, and even understand. Well, concretely, this is different keys for you to shape step by step your master key and to open up the door of consciousness, your consciousness, and the consciousness in general, in the absolute, the living one. Well, all the roads lead to Rome and to Om. Thank you for attention, and see you very soon.